Everyone else, welcome to Geek Mythology, a podcast brought to you by my good friend Sow.
And Sugi here, also known as Seth on Sugi on YouTube. He's called Seth.
I just read the script and I was like, maybe you could do the episode today, but I ended up doing it like myself.
He's called Seth, right? Listen, hear me out. He's called Seth, but he's called sugeypopplanet on YouTube, which you should totally subscribe to if you're watching on YouTube right now, or follow us on Spotify.
Yes. Is there anything else you want to add?
What do lawyers wear to court? I don't know, because you're the one meant to be asking me this.
Pardon? Wait.
What do lawyers wear to court?
Oh, the joke! What do lawyers wear to court? I don't know.
What do they wear to court?
They wear lawsuits.
God damn it.
You're taking over my job. You're not... You ask the...
I mean, to clarify, he said Sal can add his flair. That's why I'm making things confusing and weird.
Is that what your flair is?
I don't know. Randomness. I don't know.
I was expecting like randomness because like last episode or something that you were screaming at the end of the episode, you know, that sort of thing. I was expecting some like upbeat. I was expecting
Seth,
some upbeat
question for you.
Sure.
I have one question for you. Are you not entertained?
I'm very entertained.
And I hope everybody else will enjoy this episode as we go through it. Today we're talking about bucket lists. And
bucket lists.
2021 so far, actually. And let's start off with the new year, because this is sort of the first episode we're recording in the new year, sort of ish.
Is it?
Right?
Yeah.
Second, actually, I don't know if we recorded on Friday or on the first day of the year, maybe.
We normally like just record a bunch of episodes when we're free, like when school's not happening. So we sort of tend to pre-record a bunch of stuff. And I think this might be one of the first or
it's the first episode where, it's been a month since 2021 started. But holy moly, what has happened?
2021, it was... more happened in the first 3 weeks than like 2020.
Okay, no. Let's talk about the first 6 days, right? A lot happened in the first 6 days. The main thing, obviously, there's something that happened before it, but I can't remember.
There was a revolution.
Okay. There was a revolution.
The storming of the Capitol. There was that.
Revolution a la America.
And then, like a couple weeks later, Biden was inaugurated. That's another pretty big thing. And then a couple weeks after that, the stock market was in, like, a bunch of people on Reddit decided to overthrow the stock market for a couple of days.
Reddit has power. Let that be known.
Like, Biden's inauguration was, like, one of the more normal things. Just let that sink in. A whole new president was one of the more normal things. Like... The rest was just chaos. I don't even know what happened.
This is maybe like less important to us really, but there are quite a few like celebrities who died in 2021. Like people die all the time, but like this was like I think some big people, at least in America. Like I think Larry King's quite a big like presenter or something.
There was like that old actor. I don't know his name. The big one in Britain was Captain Tom. Some like this old 100-year-old war veteran who raised like millions of pounds for the NHS.
That was like £33 million.
Big one.
I think in America, like famous presenter Larry King died.
Oh yeah, I did hear about that. To be honest, I'd never heard of him until
the first time I heard of him was in Gravity Falls.
I guess it's like. First of all, I'm not American. I probably won't know him. And then I feel like he's like an older guy for maybe... If you were born a long time ago in a different generation, then you'd probably know him. Anyway, a bit of a tangent to bucket lists. Before we move on, just to talk about 2021, there's been a bunch of there's been a bunch of chaotic things, sad things, but there's also been a bunch of like memes, right, and trends that have come about.
What do we want to start with?
I think I'll start off with Bernie Sanders' meme thing where he was sitting on a chair and
Yeah,
He
he's
was
sitting on a
photoshopped
chair.
into everything.
That was funny, actually.
I know he made a bunch, like millions. He put it on a T-shirt and sold it as merch, and then made millions for charity. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
They don't do that here. Politicians don't have merch over here. Boris Johnson T-shirts.
There was something that at least some of our friends found funny, where I was like, there was a council meeting on like Zoom or something.
Oh yeah.
Like that got out.
You know, I didn't find it funny per se. Like, I guess there were funny moments, but it's a different genre to what I like. I know some people watch people argue, like you know the various like reality TV shows which are
The debate
like,
shows as well, like
yeah, they're all
where they
based
have like
around
two
drama
sides.
and yeah.
Like they have two sides and stuff like that. Another sort of trend that happened is TikTok shanties.
TikTok shanty. That really kicked off like
Yeah,
January.
I think it did start like around like New Year time, maybe. Like
I think
there's just this one guy called
yeah.
Nathan. I think he made a few TikTok shanties, but there's one specific one that blew up, being like the Weller Man.
Yeah. Apparently, it all started with like the game Sea of Thieves, but it didn't kick off until recently. Like that's when it first made an appearance on the internet.
Like, to talk about Sea of Thieves just like for a second, it's a really cool game, and there's like one specific sound that's on TikTok that I absolutely love, and I'll show it to you later. Just not to like take up time now. I'll show you the clip later. It's really funny, but yeah.
I mean that TikTok shanty is actually quite catchy.
It is.
It's
and like when it's even cooler when like people like stitch it and duet it and like
harmonize
add things to it.
Harmony.
We know Caleb. You know Caleb Howes, right? He made his own version.
There's a bunch of remixes as well. Really good.
I've actually got like one remix saved on Spotify as well.
Yeah. Anyway, that's if you stick around till the end of the episode, we could end the episode singing the shanty.
Oh yeah, let's try that. Yeah, sure.
Anyway,
but to the main topic of this,
bucket lists. Yes. So I found this bucket list on the internet. It's like I was searching up for like geeky bucket lists, because I wanted to see what was out there. Like, I wanted to make a bucket list for myself in terms of what I want to do, but geek related, or fandom related. And I was like, I can't be asked to think up what to do, so I'll find something on the internet. And I found this list which has a bunch of different things on it, such as like going to places like Disney World, and places. There's things to do, and there's a few things here that I want to mention. So I wrote down a few things that I want to do from this list. One of them is a tour of NASA. I think that's pretty cool because I won't go into it too much, but I do like rockets and stuff. So maybe I'll talk about rockets and things in another episode.
Wait, did you sort of like make this? I see some crossed stuff. Is that just somebody else's?
Someone else's. Yeah, someone else's.
Oh, they just like took it from somebody else's thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh god, the last one. I love the last one.
What's the last one on the list?
Time travel.
Yes, let's time travel.
Wait, no, there are some things which are absolutely ridiculous, right? Some of these are like normal, right?
Yeah, some of them are doable. Some of the things on this list are doable.
Yes. So, can I list off some of the joke ones that I found, right?
Okay.
There was a find the Loch Ness monster. Climb the stairway to heaven. That's probably an actual stairway or something I don't know about, right?
It probably is like a tourist attraction.
I don't. There's something else I saw. I think it was like survive a trip to Chernobyl, time travel, right? Survive the Bermuda Triangle. It's so stupid and just.
I think you can go to Chernobyl. I don't know. I know there was this episode of Top Gear where they the whole challenge was to drive there, but you didn't want to get there. You had to run out of fuel before you got to Chernobyl. So they were like doing all these weird ways of trying to tried to make their cars as inefficient as possible, like driving with the doors open to maximize air resistance and stuff. To like,
yeah, no, some of these are absolutely ridiculous, but yeah.
Some of
So
them
what
are
are the ones
doable
you
though.
picked out? Like, which ones did you like pick
So
out? NASA.
from the list, I mean, they're quite expensive to do. Like, I don't think I'll ever do them.
Yeah.
Like, tour of NASA, you're gonna have to go to America. Build a Lego set with like 1,000+ pieces, like those big things.
That you can do.
I could do it, but then like,
will you do it?
You know those Lego sets of like the giant Star Destroyer that's like a whole table big? That costs like a lot of money.
Ned.
Star Wars Marathon.
Spider-Man.
Oh yeah, Ned. He got that Death Star.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another big one. But yeah.
So Star Wars Marathon. That's doable.
Star Wars Marathon's
doable. But like with friends or like by yourself?
I mean, with friends, obviously. Like, it would be quite boring. Especially with the prequels, you could, geek out at all the memes.
Yeah.
But
I know that one. Yeah. You know, like the Leonardo DiCaprio. I don't know his name.
Yeah.
You know that guy.
The meme.
The pointing.
But no, it would be even better to bring in a couple people who've never seen Star Wars before.
Yeah.
just
Zach. Just kidnap our friend, the other friend called Zach, who just doesn't know, just has not watched any films for some reason.
Just lock them in the room and for like 12 hours or however long it takes to watch all the movies. tie them up,
just sitting there with them. You're like, yeah, how are you enjoying this? They're just like, don't go now.
That'll be fun.
The next one you said you already kind of did, and I was actually going to bring up what you kind of already did because I saw it on something else. Right.
So this thing on the bucket list is visit Hogwarts. I guess you could interpret that in two ways. There's Disney World Hogwarts, like the actual castle which you can see.
That's not Disney.
Not Disney World, Universal.
Universal, yeah.
And then
then there's another one where there's this quote unquote set, which is a miniature scale Hogwarts, which they used to do all their like up high shots, like when the owls are flying in, or like those sort of zooming in from the sky shots. Miniature by the fact that it's like
a model.
Big. Yeah,
I mean it's big, but
but it's miniature.
It fits in a room.
Yeah,
that makes sense. I think I want to go there on like a birthday, and I'd bring you along and a couple of other people, but like we can't do that anytime soon, which is sad.
Yeah,
and also,
I mean, then again, if you think about it, we're still young.
We're still young.
That's something I said the other day. Is like we have this group chat which was originally to go to Insomnia, but we can't, and we probably won't for like another year or so. I want to go with you guys because I've already been, and I want to like have my friends meet and my online friends because you already know it. Anyway, point is, there's still a lot of time we have to do stuff when we grow older and stuff.
I was intending to, if COVID wasn't a thing, I'd have gone on my 17th birthday, which would come out, which is on the day after last episode's release date, if that makes sense. So we're recording this before my birthday, but by the time this episode releases, I'll be a year older. But yeah, I was planning, or intending, or wanting to go to Harry Potter Studios on my 17th birthday, but that can't happen. And then my 18th birthday is like, you're 18. It's gonna have to be something big, right? My mum was like, "Yeah, let's have a party at home." Let's invite everyone. So that kind of rules out going to Harry Potter Studios.
Okay, can I just to talk about a party saying everyone, like there's family, right?
Yeah.
But then, it's just funny. I can't imagine parties like until like when you're older, right? Where you just have family and friends. Just doesn't seem like it works for some reason.
Have you not had a party with family and friends?
Well, no. I've had one party where I invited my cousins over once, but like they also went to the same school. So,
to be fair, I can't imagine it either, because like
yes, it's weird.
I've
you
never
have like your aunties and uncles, right?
Yeah,
but then you'd have like
that.
The boys. You'll have the boys.
Yeah, I've never had that. Like, it's either like a party with just friends and we'd go do something, or a party with just family, but then family friends. Like, not my friends, like family friends, right? Like my mum's
I still
friends.
feel like for some reason that still counts as family for me for some reason. You know, like that still counts for like the family side. I talk about like 18th parties. I was gonna say like my sister, I don't think she had a huge 18th party or anything. So she said next year when I turn not 18, because I'm not turning 18 next year, I don't want to accept that fact.
You won't accept to do growing
like,
up.
she wanted to like do like a big party for like her 21st and my 18th. So like maybe like a hall, or you know what they call them,
like,
you know, like a venue.
like a
you know
venue.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. And like she was like, invite all your friends. And whatever, we'll get to it when we get to it. You know?
But like, I can't imagine that for me, because I just feel like our parties are so different. Like, a Western sort of, you know, I'd say normal party, and then like Filipino parties, which is what normally happens. No. It's just so different. Like, I can't fathom putting them two together.
I've gone to so many birthdays at like a venue, right, where they like set stuff up, but I've never had that myself. You know?
Yeah.
Like, you know, like people have like their, I don't know, like there's this thing called like a cradle ceremony that we do, and like so people do that in halls. Like people have their birthdays in halls and stuff. And I've never done that. I've always just been at home. You know?
I mean, I've attended, like, gone to parties at halls and stuff, but never had one ourselves.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But yeah, that's sort of like birthday stuff.
Yeah.
The next one that you wrote down, I can agree with.
I mean, back to visiting Hogwarts. Yeah,
oh,
going to not Universal. I mean, I definitely want to go to Universal, but like in terms of something more realistic, Harry Potter Studios in London, which is in the same country. I want there again, because I know they added
in a way
stuff.
It holds its own coolness, because like, you know, it's the actual props and stuff.
But I do want to go with like you and people who appreciate Harry Potter, because when I went back when I was like 11 as a school trip, and it was cool, but like and also back then I wasn't a big geek, so I never geeked out. Yeah. So if I do go again, I'm gonna definitely geek out and like buy a wand. Definitely buy a wand. Hopefully, maybe.
I'll probably end up getting a mug or something. You know?
A mug, yeah.
But yeah, I was gonna say, if we look at, I was gonna mention the D&D one you have down, which I sympathize and agree
with. I've never played D&D.
I mean, I've started a game, but we never like.
I do want to play a game like in my lifetime, you know.
Yeah, but like, talk about TTRPGs, right? Tabletop RPGs, right? We have one show that we watch, which is coming out with that, and you have like Star Wars ones in mind as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say I don't think Star Wars tabletop games are that mainstream. They're they're on the fandom spectrum, to go back to that thing that I made last episode. If you're gonna play tabletop games, you're like on the very edge, because not only have you're probably gonna be the type you're probably going to be the type who would have read all the books and comics, or at least enjoyed, like, I don't know, fan fictions and games and stuff. But then to buy a game, and some of these games are expensive. That's a whole new level.
It's not like there was another show though, which we have both watched, and they're actually like pushing their tabletop RPG a lot. You know, like Dragons, Tales of Stadia. Yeah. And that sort of makes sense, because it's sort of similar to D&D. It's a fantasy world, sort of. But And another thing, actually, sort of related to Dragonprince in a way, I realize now, is Avatar. I have this like post from Polygon saying like they're making a tabletop RPG for Avatar, like handbook, which is interesting as well.
I mean, I've never played D&D, but I know there are like fantasy creatures and things.
Yeah.
And I feel like,
do
you think it'd work with Harry Potter? Because like you've got like griffins and stuff.
No, I'm about to like mention something like that. D&D, a lot of people don't like restrict it to the D&D world. They do like themed D&D playthroughs, you know?
Yeah.
So like I know there's like there's a One Piece D&D that I know people have done,
but it's themed around One Piece, and like maybe
yeah,
so it might work. It's like Monopoly, I guess, because you can get like different themed Monopolies.
yeah,
So it's like the core game mechanics are the same, but then
yeah.
you could have like different like characters, I guess.
I think for sure I'm gonna try and get into Tales of Xadia purely because it's Dragon Prince. It'll be a cool way to get into TTRPG.
Yeah,
as well.
there's a lot of world building in Dragon Prince as well. It's one of the it's
Yeah,
a really good show. Yeah.
It is. But yeah,
Okay. And back
that's
to
D&D.
the bucket list. So yeah, playing a full game of D&D is one of them, and then the last thing that I kind of really want to do. Oh, okay. There's a few more things. A drive-in theater. There's something really retro about that, and I want to do that.
Are there any in the UK?
I don't think so. I think there was a little spike in them because during like lockdown 1, or because it's just safer to be inside your own car, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So there was a little spike in that. And then another thing I have on my list is to be an extra or an actor in a movie. I think.
Yeah, that would be great.
I mean, like, just being in a movie is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then the last one is to attend a premiere, and that's kind of hard, I'd say. It would be amazing though.
By premiere, you mean like those sort of special ones, sort of, right?
So not just opening day. I mean like going to London with the red carpet sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Or I know it kind of really depends, because sometimes they've got premieres in London for some movies, then sometimes they do it in America. But like, because London's a pretty major city and we don't live that far away from it. I mean, you live in London, I'd say. I kind of don't. But anyway, yeah, it's quite accessible if you can like somehow get tickets. I don't know how you go to a premiere. Do you get invited or something?
Yeah, I feel. I was gonna say, is there anything else you want to say about premieres?
I mean, not really. I mean, it would be even better if it was Star Wars, but
yeah. Do like you talked about like acting or like being an extra? But I don't know. I don't think you'd ever come around to this. But would you ever like do skits just out of fun sometimes or something? But I know like you're not like a film kid or anything. But like, would you ever think about making skits?
I definitely have. I've definitely considered it. I've even considered making a fan film.
Yeah.
Like couple years ago, maybe last year, but it just never happened because, like, I'd end up just playing Minecraft during summer holidays.
I mean, I think the closest you've gotten to it is doing your like last year your French film or something. Right? You did like a French short film. I did
a French short film that was very cringe.
That was amazing. You had references to Avengers Endgame and Star Wars in there.
Yes, it was very cringe. Also, I did put it on YouTube for a bit, but I did take it down because it was filmed at school. I wouldn't want that public, but it's there on my private list of videos.
Yeah. I mean, just know if you ever think about filming skits, I wouldn't mind being in one.
I definitely do want to make, because I definitely did want to take up like filmmaking and photography as a hobby when I got my camera, like many years ago.
Yeah, I guess it doesn't really help that our school doesn't have something like film either.
No,
but like, it is a far more academic school as well, rather than.
If I just had the time to do it, and I got another story. So some guy in our class, in our DT class, you know him.
Probably
last year, before COVID was a thing, he was intending to make this like talk show, and he had like secured like facilities at a local school's drama studio, and he was going to bring in a bunch of people. He had like a bunch of equipment, and because I ran a YouTube channel, he was like, do you want to help out? You could even be in it. And I was like, sure. And it would be this thing that we did after GCS, that long summer that we would have gotten. And yeah, that was a opportunity, I guess, to like maybe get experience in media.
Yeah.
But then, COVID came along and it never happened. But I was just gonna say, I would have been very interested in getting involved in some sort of like project like that, making
that would have
content.
been amazing for you.
And he had a bunch of equipment. Like he was designing sets for in DT, like sets for things.
Yeah.
And he was building a set in DT in school, so it was pretty developed. It wasn't just an idea to make a show. There was he had secured like things and was working on it in January of 2020, but then it never happened because but yeah, we got very distracted.
Yeah, I mean, if I was going to mention like things I'd want to do, right? Because you have said like sort of what I think the most basic things I can think is obviously visit the big theme parks, right?
Yeah.
Go to Japan, visit the Disney theme park at Japan. Actually, the Pokemon Center at Japan. Japan has just a few things.
Oh,
I guess just like
you talked a lot about going to Japan. Like,
have I?
Yeah,
I don't think I've talked that much about
I feel
going to
like
Japan. I haven't
you
thought that
mentioned
much.
like wanting to go to some like city where anime was born or whatever. I don't know what it's called.
Oh, like Akihabara. It's like the place where like it's just the anime part of Tokyo, basically,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, I guess just go to a bunch more cons with friends, start cosplaying and stuff like that. Maybe,
Yeah.
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 Sort of get my friends to meet, my online friends and my school friends. Of course, if you guys want to, that is, I won't push you guys to. And then cons with you guys. Actually, that's my main thing. Just go with friends, sort of.
Yeah, as I said last episode, going to Star Wars Celebration would be a dream.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd want to do it at least once in my life, and if that means going to America, I'd consider it.
Yeah,
but it'd be much easier if it comes to Britain for another year. Not Britain necessarily, but Europe.
Yeah.
Back to the list, there were a few other things that I quickly wanted to mention, which I thought were pretty cool. And they're not necessarily like geek related, but they're pretty cool things. Standing on the eastern and western hemisphere, and I take that to mean going to the Greenwich Mean Time GMT line thing, like in the middle of London or whatever, and just stand, because Britain's like in the middle of planet Earth.
You mean like if you look at like a flat map?
Yeah.
You mean like that's where like you're part of the hemisphere.
Is that where you'd can chop up the western and eastern hemisphere?
I guess that makes the most sense, doesn't it? Really.
And it's also doable. Like if I bother going to London and doing it.
Yeah.
I know lots of people have, but I've never gone to Greenwich.
Look at another one on here. The one right after this is escape room, right?
You've done escape rooms.
I've actually done one escape room. It was really fun. It made me feel good inside. I felt.
Do you want to explain what happened?
Okay, so one of my friends in the year above us had a birthday, and he's been on here. So Seb, our guest a few episodes ago.
Yeah.
So I'd gotten to know him around like when I was year 10 and year 11 when he was year 11. And he invited me to his sort of birthday party thing. And we went to an escape room. He'd been there a few times before. He'd done like 2 or 3 rooms before. And this was supposedly one of the harder rooms. Yeah. And it was just really cool to like figure things out. I feel like I did contribute quite a bit. Like I was like, okay, let's focus on this. Like I kind of like have this sort of mind when doing puzzles, though I'm not great at them. I feel like escape rooms are a great way to like work with your friends to do them, and it is really fun.
Yeah,
and it was even greater because we were so close to completing it when the 1 hour timer was up. They gave us like an extra 10 minutes, and I think they said something like people like don't manage to complete that room a lot, so it was really cool to do. I think there are like sometimes themed escape rooms as well. If you go
Did your escape room have like a theme to it? Was there like a role play aspect?
I think what it was is like, it was sort of like there was this like big bad guy who's like this evil sheep man or something. He's like this black sheep, and he's like trying to like take over the world by turning everybody into sheep. I can't remember the exact storyline it was going with.
You know, until recently, I didn't think roleplay, like live action roleplay, was a big thing. But apparently it is. Like, you've got escape rooms, you've got like hotels, like themed hotels where you could
actually
and do things.
Hotels. To bring this back to Japan. Japan has so many like themed hotels. There's this one hotel that people always talk about, which is like this butler hotel. And I feel like it would be weird to go there because I feel like it's catered towards the butlers are meant to be serving like women, like ladies, you know.
Okay.
But I'd want to go there anyway because like it just the thought of like butlers is still like really cool. Like I watched this guy's video and they were talking about how to pour tea, and I was like, I can use that. I can use that.
How to pour tea.
They were like, okay, with the water only, you got to get to like 60% of the cup, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna try that.
There is like a whole world of etiquette that like the rich people, higher classes, I don't know, aristocracy, they're like like there's certain ways of eating. Like
it's definitely changed like if what you count as aristocracy, because anybody can become rich, right?
Yeah, but like anyone can become rich, but not everyone will like take up the act of
rich.
Well, you know, like Elon Musk, right? He's like really rich. He's really rich, but he posts memes on Twitter, right?
Yeah, I know.
I highly doubt he pours tea a certain way. I highly doubt he eats a certain way.
I guess in England you'd mainly think of the royal family at this point.
And like royal family and like the aristocracy, like the lords and ladies. Yeah.
Do you know something weird about lords? I'm pretty sure you can like buy yourself a like official / non-official title as a lord, and it costs like £200 or something.
I think you could buy a lordship as a legal title, but I don't think it makes you like.
It doesn't mean anything because you paid £200 for it.
It doesn't mean you're in the aristocracy. Like you won't be treated differently. It's
just really the concept of it is really weird because it doesn't mean anything. Like you can't just go like, oh yeah, I'm a lord now.
Just imagine like Lord Salmian.
Can I just mention one thing? Like just quickly, it's sort of like doing anything voice acting related would be interesting. Like whether it's official or unofficial, like. Or like, even if it's acting with anything we do, coming back to acting, it would be good to just like do something acting related because I like doing my weird voices.
Yeah, but I mean, there's just something cool about being on TV or being in a movie, and you could say, "Hey, I've starred in this X and X movie or show." It could be animated, doesn't matter.
Can I actually, John, like just go through it. There's one I'm interested in talking about. If you just want to go through it.
Do you want to bring it up?
No, I'll bring it up after we've talked about the rest, I feel.
Okay, so back to the list. Another thing that is pretty cool is having an ultimate geek room.
This is one I can actually talk about as well because
many YouTubers have an ultimate geek room with like their collection and posters and stuff.
There's this new YouTube channel I started watching called Dorky Ever After, and it's basically this husband and wife who are just absolute nerds and geeks. And their house is amazing. Like they like order things from like Japan, like Disney Japan and Pokemon Japan, and like they've got one room dedicated to like Funko Pops, which is also like the cat's room as well.
Yeah.
Not even a shrine. They've got so many, but I'm pretty sure like I haven't seen their video of it, but they have like a lot of Funko Pops and like their like living room is just decorated with like a bunch of stuff. Just really cool. I understand what you mean by like having like an ultimate note.
I think that's one of the more expensive things to do, especially if you want to collect stuff.
Yeah, I can actually relate this to popcorn culture. Like when Ben and Jay were talking about like how like the American films, you'd see people's rooms with like posters everywhere and stuff. Like that just doesn't happen. I feel like
I guess it might just be a stereotypical thing, like having posters.
I know, like I've gone to like one of our friends' house, and like it's not like a friend who has like siblings or something, but they just have a lot of toys, just like a whole lot of toys and like a whole lot of films, and I'm just like. When, why, where? parents are nice. Parents do this.
Parents buy things.
Parents. It's even funnier when like one of my friends who like just sort of, I'm gonna like bring up a stereotype that I make, right?
Okay.
Sort of like from my experience, I'd be like, sorry if this offends anyone, but I don't know if it will. Like, so like Asian parents will be more reluctant to like buy their sons or like children anything like I
Yeah.
don't know geeky or stuff like like sort of white parents per se. Like there are exceptions. I'm just sort of like going like whenever I go to like maybe like one of my white friends, they just have a lot of stuff. They just have
Okay.
stuff,
Yeah.
right? But then it's funny because like one of our friends, I won't say his name, but like his mum, he's Asian, right? But like his mum bought him like Pokemon cards. Like
Okay.
she was out shopping and she just saw Pokemon cards. I was like, okay, I'll buy that because I know he wants. It's like, what? That doesn't make sense to me for some reason. Though of course, like it's a stupid stereotype I made myself.
I mean,
like, I made myself.
I can only speak on personal experience. I might have to agree to an extent because last episode I talked about like collectibles in primary school, and my mum never bought me any. So I guess I kind of agree to an extent.
I think it's also the fact that I've just gotten used to not getting anything ever. Like birthdays, nah. Christmas doesn't exist. We've talked about this. So like, it's sort of like something I've just made. It's just something I know is true for myself, right? Because obviously my parents and my sister aren't like massively involved in my interests.
Yeah.
Obviously. So like, yeah, it's just sort of something.
I mean,
anyway,
my parents know that I like Star Wars. So
yeah, your parents probably understand a lot more than I do, and my parents, because my parents are like a bit older. I don't know, and
I was just gonna say,
anything.
I feel like a chunk of this audience is just gonna feel really sorry for you. I don't know.
Please, no, stop. Well, okay.
I mean, I
that wasn't even my intention.
It's fine. Like, I don't think I don't think we live sad lives just because we don't.
No, absolutely
have
not.
Toys.
Our lives are great. Right? I've always like when it comes to shows based on games, I've always been content watching. I don't care too much about buying things. Right?
I mean, if anything,
like,
it means if you have something, it's much more special. Like
yeah.
When I bought,
I've always been content just watching. I just like enjoying it.
When I bought like this like Star Wars T-shirt, it didn't cost that much. And then when I bought the Light of the Jedi High Republic book, which I'll talk on a bit later on, like that was my own money first of all, so it wasn't too much of a problem. But secondly, because I don't normally have a bunch of geeky stuff and merch and things. Having just like one of them is like, it just makes it more special. Like I only have one Star Wars book that I physically own, and that one Star Wars book, that High Republic book, is really special to me now.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like, I like if we talk about YouTubers, like I have like Stampy's lovely book and stuff. I have like the Muffin Time game. So it's just like cool things to have if you have it,
Like I wouldn't necessarily buy the book just to read it. I kind of bought the book as like a thing, like a thing, like to show off. Like, hey, I've got this Star Wars book because
it is. Yeah, I just kind of went on a huge weird tangent there. I'm sorry.
It was a big tangent. Back to the bucket list, which is kind of related.
The next one, the next one that I'm interested in to talk about is time capsule.
Time capsule.
Explain. What are your thoughts about time capsule?
You know what? I think the act of making a time capsule is pretty cool. Like,
oh wait, we just thought of time capsule too.
Yeah.
You keep on talking. I'll mention what I was going to.
So the act of making a time capsule is pretty cool, I guess, because you want to pick out things that are like relevant to the time period that you live in. But I just feel like opening a time capsule that you made, like, I don't know, 20 years later, I guess there's like maybe nostalgia or something sentimental about like reopening the things you buried. But it's stuff that you grew up with, like it's nothing special. But if you came across a time capsule, say like it was made in the Victorian times, if somehow you came across that and you managed to open it, I think there's going to be something cool maybe.
Yeah.
But I think the more interesting thing is fantasizing and predicting what the future generation will like react when they look at how we lived. Like, you know those memes of like,
yeah.
Oh, you lived through 2020. What did you do? Because, you know, and I'll be like, yeah, 2020 was tough. Like, there was this giant plague. You know, I coped, like, I almost died.
Like,
yeah, totally.
No. Like, I think the main thing we could think about is like, if you compare the past 60 years, right, to the next 60 years coming up, I feel like a lot has changed over the past 60 years, right, in terms of like media, culture, and just like diversity as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like, I think like maybe old people now would have a harder time understanding like what's going on now, right?
Yeah.
I feel like in 60 years' time,
we're gonna be.
Well, understand. I don't think that much is going to change over the next 60 years.
I feel like there's gonna be a bunch of new technology and like
I
artificial intelligence and all that.
Are we going to struggle with the technology in 60 years like the people do now?
I don't know. Maybe.
It's sure.
We'll never know until we get there.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm
gonna try and do an old man impression. Like, what is this robot?
What is this? What is this digital keyboard that's a hologram?
Explain how you can control things with your mind.
Yeah. It was funny. If I could move on quickly, unless you have anything more to say about Pancake.
Nah, I mean, like, I just mentioned that because I think it would be cool to make one, but I don't really have much.
I did want to talk about that unplugging for 24 hours, like docs. Not, I know there's something my sister called like it's not doxing yourself. It's like detox.
Detox. What is? I don't exactly know what that is.
I feel like it's where like you just don't go onto like social
something.
I think what detoxing probably is not going onto social media all day or like stuff like that.
I think I first came across it as in like some guy would like try not to smoke or drink for a certain amount of time. If that makes sense.
But if you just apply that to like internet, social media, but like, would you take unplugging yourself for 24 hours as like not using like your phone or laptop all day, and like limiting the technology you use?
I'd say,
is that what you call that?
I'd interpret it as not. I mean, there's two types of unplugging. I guess there's not using devices and the internet as one version, and the other one is not using electricity at all. And like, I don't know, camping in the middle of the woods. Like,
I feel like as far as that I go is probably like I don't know about not talking to people, but like maybe only using the TV or something.
Yeah,
so that's kind of impossible. My dad uses my TV every day, all day, every day. So like that's why I'm forced to use my laptop and phone. But like it would be cool to like maybe like just go on Netflix all day or like go on Disney Plus all day. You know, like
if I unplugged for 24 hours, I think I definitely would just want to not use anything for 24 hours, just to see what it's like. Like,
you know what I imagine I'd do.
If that makes sense.
You know what I'd imagine that a day without I sometimes thought about it, right? In case like, what if my mum took away my phone and laptop all day, sort of stuff, right? What I imagine end up with me is like bed, breakfast, bed, lunch, bed, dinner, bed. It's just sort of. I just imagine like I just imagine I'd be in bed all day, like just sleeping all day if I had
sleeping.
No, like if you think about it, that is kind of like not a great thing. Like, technology is what I do all day, right? I'm watching YouTube all day. I'm watching anime all day. I'm playing Minecraft. I'm on Discord all day. So like, I have an unhealthy amount of internet every day. I feel.
I mean,
to be honest, that's sort of like the reason I want to talk about this, because I feel like for me it would be really weird if I couldn't use like my phone all day or something.
I guess, like in the current day and age, we have to sit in front of a screen for 8 hours a day. If that makes sense, like doing online schooling and homework and stuff. So like,
that's why I always laugh. That's why I always laugh. Like when the teacher goes like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna," so you can get off so you can not have so much screen time. Me, lesson ends immediately. Okay, YouTube, Netflix. Are they not? I didn't even realize since I don't do my own. Oh, moving on. Moving on. Reading 52 books in a year?
I was just gonna say, if I had to unplug, I'd probably find myself
Yeah,
reading.
yeah.
You know,
That's fair. That's
so
fair.
that leads on to reading books. Reading 52 books a year in a year. I think I could do that.
Yeah.
But it's
Do you know the
hard.
other thing? It's just the fact that physical books, you have to buy them, you know.
Yeah,
or library.
it's
If you have a
expensive.
library card or something.
Yeah. Are libraries open in lockdown? I don't think
Probably
they
not.
are.
Probably not.
That's
Because if you
sad.
think about it, it's probably libraries are probably the way you're going to spread it the most. You know, touching
Yeah.
things or that.
Yeah.
But yeah. It's just sort of like if I were to unplug, I'd have nothing to do. Literally,
Yeah.
like no idea what I'd do. Because
Anyway,
it's not like
yeah.
not like I have a game console or anything. You know, to like play games. To like be like instead of like watching things all day, I could like play a game for a little bit or like watch. I don't have anything else to do. Which is really weird.
I'd say books is a great way of, if you can get your hands on a book, either like library or buying, or like, you shouldn't do this, but downloading PDFs. I said nothing. If you can like read, I think it's a great way of spending your time.
I just had a slow realization. I do English literature. I have to read books.
Yes.
Yeah, I think the thing with English literature is the fact that I'm not always interested in it. They're good books. I can appreciate the books, right? But it's not magic fantasy spells flying through the air. Lightsaber swing, you know. It's not like
Harry Potter, which
I'm
going to talk about because
it's not like the stream magic. Anyway, carry on.
So last time we were recording podcasts, last episode, I hadn't read, or I was in the process of reading Harry Potter.
I think you were reading the second book or something.
But now it's been like a month since I finished Harry Potter, and yeah, I can finally say that I've read the Harry Potter books. What did you think? First of all, no one has to lynch on me. Second of all, I can now consider myself a Potterhead, like officially.
I guess, yeah. Well, I guess for me, when I was younger, I just kind of read them passively, right? I just read them because they were there.
So here are my thoughts. I know some people found it, like, especially the longer books, like, tiresome and boring. I didn't. I actually enjoyed all of them. I mean, I guess I need to dedicate a whole episode to Harry Potter, maybe. But yeah, Harry Potter's great. I love Harry Potter. I mean, the characters are different. Like, I think Ginny's much more, like, badass in the books. Ron is, like, is much smarter in the books.
Ron's just kind of throwaway in the film, isn't he?
Hermione is less of a goody two shoes in the books, I think, if I remember correctly.
Honestly, for me, it's really hard because I haven't read or watched the films in a long time.
Harry Potter's great. I mean, I've read other books since then because since reading Harry Potter, it made me read a bunch of other books, which I'll quickly mention because I started reading Star Wars books. First of all, I talked about buying the Light of the Jedi High Republic book when it came out, like January. So that book was really good. I won't go into spoilers. I'd say I could dedicate an episode to High Republic. So yeah, the Light of the Jedi was a pretty cool Star Wars book. I also read or listened to an Audible, the A Test of Courage High Republic book for kids. That was fun. But in terms of other Star Wars books that I've been reading or listening to, because I've been using Audible, this episode's not sponsored by Audible, by the way. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, Thrawn. So I was reading Thrawn books or listening to them. And yeah, the Thrawn books are amazing. I highly recommend them if you want to like listen to a Star Wars book. And yeah, you know Thrawn, Sal, like you've watched Rebels. It's actually so interesting to see.
Yeah. He's a cool guy.
Yeah,
he's a cool guy.
It's so interesting to see how he rose through the ranks of the Empire. And he's also got like this sidekick character called Eli Vanto, who started off as this like nobody from the Outer Rim. And the Empire has the Empire has this like social hierarchy where like if you're from the Outer Rim, like no one really likes you. But because he was like,
yeah,
because he was like, he understood Thrawn's like language. He
yeah.
ended
So
up,
when Thrawn couldn't speak
yeah,
their language at first,
like he ended up being a translator and then becoming Thrawn's like aide. And as Thrawn rose through the ranks, because Thrawn was like big brain. Normally, like
yeah,
people,
yeah,
people in the Empire, they just like buy their way to the top or like use
get
corruption.
stuck where they are
Yeah.
probably.
Well, yeah, they just corruption and all that. Thrawn actually he's got a big brain, uh, so he was promoted like to admiral like legitimately. And as he rose through the ranks, his assistant guy Eli Vanto was also promoted. And normally, a person like Eli Vanto would just stay near the bottom because he's like
Bottom
class. But because of his role, he also got promoted to commander, which is pretty cool. And yeah, I've started the second book in the Thrawn trilogy. I hope to like finish it soon.
I think what else is I think what of course I only know about Thrawn through Rebels, but I've watched like Super Carlin Brothers video on like him appearing. Like they thought he'd appear in Mandalorian, but the point being like, uh, of course it was interesting the fact that his arrangement in being the Empire is sort of like a peace treaty almost for his own sort of. It's a way to keep his own people safe, isn't it? Wasn't it?
Yeah, so yeah, he joined the Empire, like not because he's necessarily loyal to the Empire. He
He's
he
loyal to his
wanted
people.
he's loyal to his people, the Chiss. He just wanted to like ally with the Empire because the Empire were really powerful, and you could use a powerful ally when fighting against like dangerous extra galactic.
Yeah, so like Thrawn isn't necessarily like evil. He's just a genius who's on the bad guy's side.
Yeah.
Really, I guess.
Yeah. And like so yeah, he was allied with the Empire. He wanted the Empire's protection, and in return the Empire wanted his knowledge of the unknown regions, of like the unexplored galaxy. And that's where eventually the First Order was like built using Thrawn's knowledge, presumably. So yeah, that's Thrawn.
I can't wait for like Ahsoka's show where he supposedly may show up.
I think he's going to be one of the best villains of Star Wars because
I mean, isn't he already one of the best?
He's already one of the best villains.
Compared to like the villains we've had now, is Palpatine. That's it.
I mean, you've got like sub villains like Darth Vader, Kylo Ren.
Darth Maul is probably one of the other best ones. Hux really became a Hux is from the sequel trilogy.
Yeah,
I was thinking about the guy from Rebels, the other ginger one who became good.
What's his name? Agent Callus.
I can't remember his name. He was like an admiral, I think.
Oh, I don't know. Was it like
you know in Rebels he became a Vulcan?
Oh, did he become he became a double agent?
Yeah.
I think that's Agent Callus.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. It's the other redhead who became good.
I mean, but like all villains with redemption arcs are quite good villains, but in terms of like not redemption arc villains, they all tend to be like really sadistic, evil people who like kill everyone.
No, like for example, Kylo's redemption arc was just really rushed. Mm-hmm. Like they could have like a lot of people I think assumed that like before Last Jedi came out, I think a lot of people would have assumed that Ben would have become good in episode 8 and fought Snoke in episode 9 is what a lot of people may have been like thinking was going to happen.
Yeah.
But like obviously they decided capitalize on nostalgia.
but anyway, like
that's different. Thrawn is amazing.
Thrawn,
I can't wait to see more.
Like,
and a live action version.
I can't wait. Yeah, but he's like.
So yeah.
Not only is he smart in terms of like tactics and strategy, he doesn't want to like kill people for the sake of killing. I mean, we didn't really see him being kind in Rebels because the characters in Rebels are Thrawn's enemies. Thrawn is there to kill them. But like in terms of civilians, he wouldn't kill them.
Yeah.
So yeah, Thrawn he's not he's not necessarily evil, but he just works for the evil.
I don't know. Was he a good fighter as well? Was he a good fighter?
Yeah, because he had those like robot droid things that he was like fighting in his spare time. If that makes sense.
For some reason, do you know how he dresses? I just think of him as having a sword. You know, for some reason.
Yeah.
I can imagine him using a sword for some reason. I don't know why.
I don't think he is a. I think he can fight, but I don't think he's gonna like go up against Jedi anytime soon.
No, I don't mean just like Jedi. I mean just like I don't know. For right now, right this time, I can just imagine him having a sword at his belt. You know what I mean? I don't know why.
Anyway, I can't wait to see him in live action. I just want to see a good villain. Yeah. Anyway, I think that's enough of. We're like coming towards the end of the podcast. We kind of don't have time for everything else, so
let's talk about the question of the day.
Yeah, do you want to ask
something we're excited for? Yeah. It is. What are your thoughts on Raya and the Last Dragon, the next big feature film from Disney?
Okay, as of release, I believe Raya's out as a release of this episode.
When this episode comes out,
but we haven't seen it.
We are recording this in February, a month before it comes out. So
yeah. There was a Super Bowl yesterday, and they released like another teaser thing. There wasn't much. It wasn't much though. It was just cool action shots. But I think the dragon. What's her name? She looks really like funny.
I don't know her. That I like. Yeah. I think the people I'm most excited for is of course Raya and her rival / villain. They're like rivalry or like their relationship. I hope will be rather interesting, or at least how they meet will be interesting. You know, each time they meet.
Yeah.
And then there's her pet or friend, animal sidekick.
Yes, the staple of Disney animation.
The pangolin. But this one's genuinely cool because it's a giant pangolin that she can ride on as well. Like she doesn't just ride on it when it's walking. She rides on it while it's rolling.
How does that work?
Sorry?
How does that work when it's
probably
rolling?
Years of training.
Is it like BB-8? Like Raya is like the head of BB-8. It's just the rolling tuk-tuk, whatever his name is, just underneath.
I don't know.
It might be like a treadmill.
I don't really want to pull up the trailer right now, but I don't know. Yeah, no. I think there was some footage of it, but I think the other one I'm excited for is obviously the three main characters, basically Raya, her animal sidekick, and the dragon. I don't know if the animal sidekick counts as main, but probably the main.
There's also the female villain who looks pretty cool.
Yeah, she does look pretty cool.
There is the Super Bowl ad did show 2 seconds of them in a sword duel.
Clashing.
Cool. Clashing, I want to see a Star Wars style, but with swords, sort of fight. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Was there anything else you want to talk about, Raya?
I hope they built the world relatively well because it seems interesting. It seems like an interesting world, doesn't it? Of course, this film is going to be limited to around an hour, 10 minutes, an hour, 15 minutes. So I assume, but that hasn't held Disney back much before, It's made some pretty great films.
I think the world is going to be really interesting because it's the first movie set in Southeast Asia.
It is the sort of first really fantastical world that's not really based on the real world, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's based on cultures of Southeast Asia, but the world is but
it's the world itself looks very. Yeah,
I mean, it varies because there are some in the trailer. There's some scenes which are very Asian inspired, and then you've got some scenes that reminds me of Star Wars.
Really?
There's that desert place,
Oh right.
That's
probably just because of Tatooine.
There's that desert place. There's pretty in Southeast Asia. There are no deserts. It's all rainforest.
I am sort of watching this rather I'm watching the trailer while it's muted, just see if I can grab anything. I would say the title itself before the trailer come out. I feel I would have thought that the dragon is what she would be searching for, but of course Disney would never do that. Disney would never do something like that.
Spoilers, she's gonna
They're
end
just
up
going to
being
introduce
the
the
dragon.
character halfway through the film, and like,
Yeah.
hopefully the dragon doesn't become like Maui. I mean, where Maui just became insignificant. You know.
Yeah.
I don't think she'll become insignificant. She'll help. Raya a lot, I think, but like in Moana, Maui did not help her at all. Like, you know, like it was her grandmother who helped her.
Maui was there to be annoying and sing a song.
I do think Raya and the Last Dragon will be cool. I'm excited for the fighting sequence.
The fighting scenes, action, the lighting, and it just looks amazing.
Because of course, like again, this is probably going to be one of the first Disney films with actual action sequences, like Disney animated film. That is.
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah, no, Big Hero 6 wasn't as like one-on-one sort of fighting, right? That was like a group against.
It reminds me of Avengers.
I need to go rewatch some Disney films.
Big Hero 6 reminds me of Avengers. Like, there's lots of people fighting lots of things.
Yeah, that's why I'm so excited of. Yeah, that's why I'm excited for Raya, because this is going to be a proper like one-on-one sort of choreographed action sequence, you know.
Yeah. So anyway, I think to sum up that question, what I can't speak. What oh my gosh.
What's going on?
What are our thoughts on Raya? Our thoughts are it's that we're excited.
It looks really good. I guess something, I don't know if you mentioned this because I haven't been probably listening because it's good, but like it is also probably one of the first big representations for like Southeast Asian culture.
Yeah, lots of people are excited for representation.
Yeah, like the Philippines. Like it is sad that some people are saying like, oh, it's an Avatar ripoff. No, it's Southeast Asian ripoff. Because of course, like because it hasn't been represented much, a lot of people are like comparing it. Oh, it's Avatar. No, it's not Avatar, you fools.
Like Avatar isn't the source material. The source material is
it is Southeast Asian culture. Yeah. I do admit I do like the design of the dragon.
I mean, like you do get the same vibes, I guess, but it makes sense. Of course,
they have to make her human. Like why wouldn't they have? But I make her look human at least. But yeah. Basically, excited. Very excited.
Cool. Okay, so thanks for listening. That's pretty much all we have time for in today's episode. Do you want to do the outro, Sal?
Sure. I'll be right back, my mom. If you can cut it.
Okay. I shall do some magical editing.
Yes, the outro. Thank you for listening to today's episode. We upload every 2 weeks on both Spotify and YouTube, as well as some other streaming platforms.
Yeah, Apple. Apple and yeah.
If you're on YouTube, subscribe to this channel because it's an amazing channel. Also, follow us on Spotify and
just follow us wherever you're listening.
What's up, my channel? I have a channel now. If you didn't know.
Oh yes, Sal has a channel. Yes.
Yeah. And
I'll link it down.
Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.